Well, hello everybody. I'm shooting in black and white by mistake. I just turned the camera on, and I left it on black and white. I was taking pictures last time, and I forgot to take it off. So you'll have to bear with me. This is just how it is. But anyway, so on this video, I'm going to do something a little different than I normally do. Normally, I'm doing pipe smoking videos, talking about the Jeep Gladiator, some philosophy, and various other things. But today, I thought I would talk about Masters of the Universe Revelation and my thought of it. I know this will probably only appeal to 2 people in my audience or subscribers or whatever, but maybe someone else will like it. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to talk about it because I want to. Now, I am going to break down this. Yeah, that sounded right. I am going to talk more in detail on the podcast, Many Faces of the Masters of the Universe, which is a podcast I did 2 years ago, but shelved it because I didn't know what I wanted to do with the show. So I put that on hold, and my buddy, my co-host, Jonesy, have decided to bring it back and kind of talk about Revelations and our thoughts about it and stuff. So look for that soon. I'll probably put a link in the description to our past episodes and what we tried to do. It didn't work out quite well, but in any case, if you want to check that out, it's below. So we will bring back the show, and I will talk more in depth. But this is kind of my rundown, kind of raw, I don't want to say emotions, but thoughts on it for today, because today it premiered July 23rd at 3 a.m. Eastern Time, and I watched it this morning with my daughter, which was really special for me. I think it was a... well, I'll just get right into that. Spoilers, matter of fact, there will be spoilers, so I'm going to do this. Well, those of you who haven't watched it, shut this off and go somewhere else for the while. I'm going to smoke my pipe, take a few puffs. And you guys can leave. I'll give you a little time. You can run out of here. Come back after, though, after you see it. Lower the classical music. All right, so let's get into what I certainly liked about it. This is probably, now Kevin Smith, I'm going to say this off the bat. Well, I'll probably save some of this for the podcast. But Kevin Smith wrote and directed my favorite movie of all time, which is Clerks. Hasn't done much since then that is that good or that caliber. I do think Kevin Smith is a good guy, but he's kind of a yes man in Hollywood. I think he'd be great to hang out with and have a conversation with and all that, but it is what it is. That's how I see it. I could be completely wrong, but that's how I see it. And I'll get more into that when we do the podcast and that. So let me just say, he hit the nostalgia button very well with bringing in characters and toys or vehicles that were toys in the show. You wouldn't think you would ever see them. He did a great job of that, and I was impressed. And there were characters, of course. My favorite character of all time, Stinkor, made an appearance, but it was like 2 seconds. I was robbed. In any case, what I did like about it is he wasn't afraid to kill characters, right? And this is what threw my daughter off, because she wasn't prepared for it. In the beginning, Adam and Skeletor are dead, for all intents and purposes, for the most part. And there's like a great piece or whatever, but and then of course Teela finds out Adam was He-Man, and there's a big problem, and goes forward, and chaos kind of ensues in a sense. Like the story goes from there, like it progresses from there. And I have to say I'm a little disappointed in Teela's progressive character progression, I should say. It fell flat to me. Like it was just like, all right, she finds out He-Man's bad, but not bad, but He-Man was Adam, and you know, she takes it like a teenager, which she kind of is. But I think for me, the problem is the Mike Young series. That Teela is like the best Teela I've seen and read about and whatnot. I do like the Goddess version that's in the mini comics and stuff, but that's, you know, I don't know. But anyway, I thought her character was kind of flat for me. I don't know why. It just fell flat for me. The surprise character was Evelyn. She had humor, smarts, bit of compassion. It was an interesting character. She was the surprise character of the whole series, the 5 episodes that we got. And I have hope that she's going to do the right thing just because it ties in the beginning. Because when Skeletor gets stabbed by He-Man, you think he's going to die, but she saves him and seals up his wound with the magic. And the magic is back now in Eternia thanks to the Power Sword and forging it together and everything. Again, I'm not going to get into too much specifics because not that I don't want to spoil anything, but I want to save some of that for the podcast. So, needless to say, Adam, when he comes back, tries to hoist the sword up and say, I have the power. And in the middle of that, Skeletor impales him because he comes back. Skeletor was actually trapped inside Evelyn's staff there somehow. You know, he did. This is what I didn't like about with Skeletor, is it was like Kevin Smith is friends with, you know, J.J. Abrams, and is this something he got out of the Rise of Skywalker nonsense with bringing Palpatine back? I don't know. So it was a little but it kind of fit the story. So it was like, all right. And again, and I've mentioned this before on the podcast, is He-Man, the Masters of the Universe, you could do anything, and it's okay. You can kind of forgive it. It's not a big deal. Whoop-de-doo type of stuff. You can do anything you want, and it'd be like, all right, well, that's interesting. Did it work? Yeah, no, yeah, you know, kind of laugh about it. It's tongue-in-cheek, right? Whereas Star Wars is like the Holy Bible. You can't mess that up. If you do one thing deviates from anything, you get crucified, so to speak. So, in any case, with that, it's kind of like, all right, I let it go. It wasn't a big to-do. But nonetheless, I thought some of the interesting things was even, you know, the downside is He-Man wasn't the main thing. And there's a lot of flack for this, that, you know, Kevin Smith lied to us. Because, you know, in the promos it shows He-Man being the lead, so to speak. But this is, it's in the title. It says Masters of the Universe. It doesn't say He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, right? It just says Masters of the Universe. And He-Man's not in it, which is fine with me. Because it's you know, when you're trying to tell a story, what are you going to tell with He-Man? And I got a plane flying over me, right? What are you going to say that's compelling and mature for an audience? Which is why the Mike Young thing kind of did that, but it was a good balance with He-Man and Teela and the whole gang, really. Where this was more focused on Teela and her journey and then getting kind of the band back together. And I think the way it leaves off is that the band will get back together and He-Man will be predominant. He'll be out there again. Teela, for me, her character just fell flat. And I don't mind her being the lead. It just kind of, the way it was done just kind of fell flat. I don't know. I was more interested in what was going on in Eternia, Evelyn's development as a character, Roboto, and all that, the Man-at-Arms stuff. I mean, some of it was good because you had Teela with Duncan, her adopted father there, and their issues going on, and he's trying to tell her more, and then Evelyn interjects comedically in the perfect way. But in any case, overall, it has its flaws, if you will. It's not exactly perfect, but I think it's done very well for the most part. I'm interested where it'll go. I don't think it's this, you know, how diehard fans are poo-pooing on it. It seems to be the thing to do, right? When you're a fan, you always poo-poo the thing you love, I guess. But it was a fun thing. And again, back to my daughter. Spoiler alert here. I'll take a puff in case somebody stuck around. Orko allegedly dies. And that hit my daughter because my daughter loves Orko because she watches the old Masters of the Universe. And this is kind of a continuation of He-Man and Masters of the Universe. And she took Orko pretty hard, which I found interesting because I never liked Orko. But I have to say, his character development was pretty good too, and it worked well with Evelyn. Like, they paired up very well, and it turned out pretty good, and I liked that dynamic. But, like, the group separates a little bit, and you had Roboto, Oh, I forget the character's name now. The new character, Andrea, I think, and Beastman, and it kind of not as interesting. I don't know why it wasn't as interesting. Roboto was the star of that, but it was kind of not as interesting as Evelyn and Arco. Of course, Scareglow makes his debut there, and that was an interesting thing. Very reminded me of Empire Strikes Back, the cave scene with Tila and Scareglow. It reminded me of Luke and Vader in the cave. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. It was done well. But, you know, to be fair, I get the criticisms that are going out there, and they're fair. They're, you know, legitimate in my mind. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. Good start. See where it goes. It's interesting. I say it's worth watching. It has some flubs. You know, it's a little predictable at times. You kind of get to see, you're like, all right, I kind of know where the story's going. But there are some surprises. He's not afraid to kill off a character you love and cherish. And kind of hit you a bit, so I applaud him for that. That's an interesting thing. It's very safe and easy to just carry the heroes along and not have anything compelling happen, and it does happen, so I think that was pretty good. But anyway, that's kind of my quasi-mini review of Masters of the Universe Revelation. Again, I'm saving a lot of it for the podcast, but I think going forward on the channel, I'm going to do some reviews on some shows that I watch, just to add a little flavor. I'll kind of do it. I think I'm going to have to keep the black and white theme now. This is kind of going to be the thing, right? I'm so serious when I talk about it, you know. But some interesting things we'll talk about. And anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I got a few other videos I want to make tonight, so I'll see you guys on the next one.